Welcome back to the synthesis phase of the orthographic drawing series. In this video, we will continue developing a site analysis drawing. We will work through the aspects that should be covered when preparing a site analysis drawing, alongside some graphic techniques to assist with a clear and easy interpretation of information. In most instances, it is best to start with some form of plan of the subject area. This should be possible even if we do not have access to a drawing, as we are able to find and download plan and mapping information for free from resources such as Google Maps or Nearmap. Even at a basic resolution, we can develop simple drawings that will give us the bones of the area we are working with. When we get to the site, we should build on these basic plans to develop a more comprehensive and accurate representation of the site. In this instance, we are starting with a reasonably detailed site plan that is to scale. In the previous workshops, we conducted a simple survey on part of the site and used this data to construct a contour plan. The new pond shown halfway up the slope is the design proposal that we have developed in a previous workshop. We will use this plan showing the proposal as our base plan for our site quality survey. It is a simple case really of observing and measuring the region of the plan and marking on any differences or omissions. In this case, the pathways require a reasonable amount of modification to reflect the current situation. We have also updated the depiction of the vegetation by way of trying to identify with a little more precision the type and location of existing established trees. The extent and the shape of the tree canopies has also been noted. When we get back to the studio, we can update the base plan information. The profile of the trees is not exact to the species, however the canopy profile is more accurate and the shape of the tree is also reflective of the type of tree at least. So here we have tried to show the difference between the deciduous and conifer trees through the shape of the tree canopy. Using simple colour and fill, we can also provide some easy to read reference points. Here we have shown the lake and the pond with a similar blue tone, and the figure ground of the buildings has been shown in grey. Part of the time on site and back in the studio should be spent getting the scientific data and the form and profile of the site correct. This will provide better base information to begin designing from. The other aspect that we should also try to include are some qualitative observations. These would comprise how people currently use the subject site and where the prime spots on the site may be. Especially on larger sites, it is important to walk the site and assess the changing viewpoints and microsite conditions. Our aim is to find the sweet spots on the site, those areas where the latent potential is strongest. It may be that a special view can be seen only from one or two locations, or maybe that some site conditions provide a comfortable place to sit. Identifying such sweet spots alongside other scientific data provides important points of departure for our future design work. Spending time and walking around our subject site in this instance reveals 3 possible sweet spots. Though the rationale for the choice of these positions is not very clear yet, we should at least start from something. Often we can take the lead from the current site users. In this instance, many users were attracted to the first and second position, whereas the third position was exposed to a lot of passing traffic. Often our intuition guides us to our initial choices. However, once we identify these spots, we should reflect upon why we have gravitated to these locations in the first instance and try and figure out what is special about those locations. We should mark the location of these sweet spots and pay attention to other usage patterns. Here we have marked the general area where most people sit and eat their lunch. We have also marked the primary pedestrian pathways through the site. The existence of concrete pathways is not always a prime indicator how people move through the site. In this instance in particular, the heaviest pedestrian traffic moves diagonally across the grass, connecting the long concrete stair with the pathway down to the lakeside. We have also indicated pause points, turning points, or decision points. These are places where people need to slow down, to change trajectory, or to avoid other people at an intersection. These points naturally gather people and may be important for our design. After identifying the sweet spots, we should also record the views looking back to these sites. The relationship with existing buildings, or the prominence of the sites in the landscape, may also help to narrow down the final location of our design project. Having completed rough sketches on site, we should translate these to the final plan using a clear, consistent, and logical graphic language. Pedestrian flows are represented differently here, with larger circles close together representing higher volume traffic that's moving with purpose, compared to the smaller circles indicating less traffic ambling across the site. The sweet spots are indicated, and the direction of the views taken from and to the sweet spots are also shown on the plan. We need to make sure that all the material comes together on the final drawing in a neat and comprehensible way. Given that all the views from the sweet spots are looking to the lake, we have positioned the frames for the views in the direction of the lake on the right-hand side of the page. The other views, which are more dispersed, are given a secondary priority at the bottom of our page. Though we could paste the photos of the views straight onto our drawing, in this instance we have stylized them by tracing a simplified version of them. When tracing the views, we have tried to split the view into the foreground, middle ground, and background to determine how the balance of these features makes a good visual composition for our view, for our design. In this instance, position 1 and 2 have a nice balance of foreground, middle ground, and background elements. Position 2 also manages to get a glimpse of the fountain. Position 3 demonstrates a flatter composition dominated by middle ground elements, which is perhaps a less interesting view. When looking back to the sweet spot locations, we can also adopt a similar stylized approach. This time, our composition is really setting the scene as to how the form and mass of our proposed building may complement the ensemble of existing landscape and built elements. We can now draw all the elements together into a single site analysis drawing. Here we have combined the scientific analysis with the qualitative analysis. The use of colour is important to provide easy recognition of the various layers of information contained on the sheet. If the graphics are carefully managed, the depth of information can come across in an effortless and clear way, whilst maintaining a richness of information in a single view that we can use to begin our designs and in turn justify our design decisions to our clients. We hope that the videos associated with the construction of a site analysis drawing now sees you producing rich and accurate site analysis. At the end of the day, time spent on a good quality site analysis will pay you back tenfold during the design decision making process. We hope this helps, and thanks again for listening.